Welcome back to 3 Idiots with Internet. I'm your host, Blake.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Sam, coming at you on the Sam Cam.
So, little upset on Monday night. The trap game has happened. The Steelers got trapped. They unfortunately lost to the football team in a very injury-prone game for the Pittsburgh Steelers, losing a lot of starters within that game, and ultimately losing to the Washington football team, falling to 11-1. Mm-hmm. Not a good look, but at the same time, not having a fully healthy team was not particularly amazing. But a loss is a loss, and Mike Tomlin's extremely upset, but hopefully a bounce back comes on the Bills game, which we'll get into later. Bills 49ers, Blake.
Buffalo 49ers is this was the Monday night game, right?
Yep.
And of course Buffalo's gonna take it home. Some people actually thought this was gonna be a decent game. I didn't assume this game was gonna be that good, just because the 49ers are still in a bad position when it comes to injuries. Buffalo's pretty healthy at the moment. And Stephon Diggs, he was taking there was actually a clip of him like breaking some dude's ankles. It was nuts in that game. Diggs was playing out of his mind per usual.
Yep. And Cole Beasley.
Cole Beasley star of that game, absolutely.
And next we got Ravens versus the Cowboys. Not much to talk about here, obviously.
Lamar came back from COVID and he threw very well, ran a good amount, got a big touchdown on a 4th and 2. Cowboys take the L.
Yep. Quick injury news, just key stuff like you guys are talking about. You just want key injury news for fantasy football. And here you go. Antonio Gibson is looking like he will miss next week. Our special guest has him on his fantasy team, and unfortunately he is out of playoff contention and as the playoffs start this week. So Antonio Gibson will miss next week. He's doubtful. And DJ Moore is one of the key players that have COVID on the Panthers after they had a outbreak, putting I think around 8 players on the COVID injury reserve.
Yeah.
And now we will talk about the Browns. And here we have a special guest, Ryan. We'll give him 1 second. Ryan, welcome to the show.
What's up, boys?
So,
executive producer.
So Ryan, explain your role in the show.
Well, I mean, from the beginning, I basically created the show single-handedly.
Yeah.
I'm the executive producer.
Yes, you are.
I spend countless seconds on the show every week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Working hard to make sure that it looks as good as it does.
Yep.
Yeah, Ryan is very committed to the show. He's our cement. He's our rock. He's our everything. We would be nothing but Ryan. So Ryan, your favorite team is the Cleveland Browns. They've been heating up soundly. What's been going on there?
Well, I think I texted you after. I don't know if I can say this, but I texted you after their game. I said Baker's ball's finally dropped.
Yep. Yes, they did.
I think Baker's woken up. I think everyone's woken up on the team, and we're finally looking somewhat as good as people thought we would be.
So, Stefanski, what are your thoughts on him? Do you think he's the answer for the Browns head coach?
Looks like it.
Yep.
I mean, he's been able to lead us to 9-3, which I don't think a lot of people ever thought we'd be able to do.
Right.
You know, he's put in a good O-line around Baker. I think overall he's done a really good job building the team up. You know, Stefanski and then also Barry, who our GM is new this year as well. So I think between the two of them, they've done a really good job.
Yeah, having those two running backs. Let's talk about them for a second. Those two running backs, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Having that backfield, it solidifies the backfield. It's a game changer having those two back there. It's really awesome to have.
It opens up the passing game, which is Baker.
Having Jarvis Landry has been heating up, and Odell. Just having Landry has been really big for you guys.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, going back to the running backs, you know, Nick Chubb was out for, I want to say 4 weeks earlier this season.
Yep.
And, you know, he came back and it was almost like he didn't miss any games, which is really good, especially coming off an injury like that.
Yep. Yeah, and this leads us to, are the Browns legit, Ryan? Do you think, you're a Browns fan, do you think the Browns are legit this time?
I think they're legit, although I don't think they are
ready
as good as a lot of people are making them out to be after their win this week. I think that's not a true indication of what they are. I mean, it's what they could be, but I don't think that's going to be something that they can maintain for the rest of the season.
All right, that's fair. Yeah, and this leads us to the next week's game, almost the game of the week this week, but we decided to talk to you about it. We have the Browns versus the Ravens. What do you think is going to happen here? Big AFC North matchup.
So I think it's going to be a good game, and I would not have said that if you asked me at the beginning of the season.
Yep.
I mean, the Ravens are just coming off having a bunch of people on the COVID reserve list,
Yep.
and they're still getting positive tests there. So that's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Through the next week here, but I think the Browns I think both teams have a good chance. I think the Browns could pull it off.
Yeah,
especially coming off with the momentum this week.
Yeah, having a good run game against the Ravens is definitely huge with their amazing running backs, Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Peters. But yeah, it definitely could be a much closer game. What do you think, boys? Who's winning this game?
I'm taking Cleveland on this one. I don't think Baltimore, their defense is there, but I don't think their offense is completely there. And especially we have Myles Garrett back. Well, he's been back, but Myles Garrett is going to be playing, and I think he's going to be a game changer this game.
Yeah. I agree with Blake. I think the Browns are going to take this with that solid front seven of the Browns defense.
Yep.
They won't be able to produce much of a run game.
I'm taking the Baltimore Ravens here. I feel like Mr. El Freaky is going to come in there. He's hungry.
They need to win this
He
game.
wants to win he wants to get in the playoffs. I think we'll see the running back go off. Mr. El Freaky himself will go off. Ryan, we really enjoyed having you on. We hope to see you more. We really, again, round of applause for just the things you do for us.
Absolutely.
It's so amazing.
Absolutely.
A lot of work. Thanks, boys.
MVP. All right, Ryan, thank you so much. We'll see you later. All right, that was Ryan, everybody. He's literally the heart and soul of our show. We'd literally be nothing without him.
The true MVP.
Literally.
He's the true MVP.
Absolutely.
So that leads us to the rest of the games we have to go over this week. And those are, first off, we got the Colts-Raiders. Big game for both
This is huge.
teams.
This is huge for both teams. This is big for playoffs when it comes
Yeah,
to
we're
the
getting to the
Raiders need
point.
this.
We're getting to the point in the season where teams' playoff hopes are starting to... We're starting to see the team's playoff hopes either die or come alive right now.
Mm-hmm.
Teams heating up late like the Titans did last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sam, what do you think? I know you're a big Raiders guy.
I am, but I think after what they showed against the Jets, making it that close of a game, and the Jets obviously tanking on purpose, I think Colts are going to take this by a long shot. They have a very good defense, which could stop the Raiders' offense, and the Raiders' defense just fell into shambles last game.
Absolutely. I'm taking the Colts on this one too. I just don't think the Raiders run game, even though they do have Josh Jacobs, is he playing this week?
Yes.
And even last week they forced the ball to be thrown, and it shows how much they need Josh Jacobs to win football games. I think this Colts defense is just too dynamic for this Raiders offense.
Next, we got the Giants versus Cardinals. Big game for the Giants. Big game for the Cardinals.
This is another huge game, and I think people are going to be closer. Kaz going to like this. I think this game's going to be much closer than people think. The Giants' defense is stepping up, as we saw against when they played Seattle. It's really stepped up late games.
Yep.
I'm still going to take the Cardinals on this one, but I think it's going to be a very close game. The Cardinals need this win when it comes to the playoffs right now, because that division, it was very, very hot, that NFC West, and all of a sudden all the teams in that division are starting to drop off a little bit when it comes to these playoff contenders and things like that.
Not a question at all. Next, we have the Dolphins-Chiefs. So I think this is going to be more interesting, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek Hill is currently dealing with an illness right now and has missed the last couple weeks. As we know, Clyde Edwards-Helaire dealt with an illness, and he missed some time. So I think there's a little illness going around there that's not COVID-related, obviously, as the Chiefs came out and said today. It's not COVID-related, so that's good for them. Hope they are better there. But I feel like that's going to affect them a little bit.
Absolutely.
It's the Dolphins' defense. Xavier Howard has been phenomenal this year. Not talking about Byron Jones is also on that team. Have those two cornerbacks on Tyreek Hill. We know that what Tyreek Hill is capable of, but that will help a little bit. Obviously, he's 8 interceptions this year. I think this is going to be closer than we think, but I think the Chiefs will pull out.
Me too. I think the Chiefs are just too high-powered from almost any of these NFL teams, no matter how good their defense is, because there's just too many weapons. Of course, you have Patrick Mahomes making big plays happen when you need them, and of course Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, all these other guys. This is such a dynamic offense, and it's very hard to stop.
Sam, big game.
Completely agree.
Get big game tonight.
Yes.
Pats versus the Rams.
I think that the Rams will pull this one out, unfortunately, but I think it could be very close because we do have the cornerbacks to stop those wide receivers like Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Josh Reynolds that the Rams have. So I think that their passing game will be off. They do have that running back depth with those 3 running backs: Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, and Marlon Brown.
Yep.
So I think that it's going to be a very good game. The defenses are the key to watch here. It's not going to be very high scoring.
Mhm.
The last time we played each other was in the
Super
Super Bowl.
Yep.
Very, very.
We pulled it
low-scoring.
out.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
And I'm going to have to disagree with Sam on this one. I'm not going to give up on the Patriots just yet because all of a sudden this Patriots team has found their identity when it comes to this. We saw it versus Arizona, and we saw it versus the Chargers absolutely shutting them out. Even though the Chargers have a bad record or whatever, it just shows how much this team has improved throughout the season. And I think, once again, it's also being a very, very low-scoring game. I can see, 2 touchdowns each team. I think that's at most, but I'm going to take, because I think the Patriots defense corners can lock up these wide receivers, and it's just going to come down to the run game. And both teams have very, very good run games, so I think this game is going to be a very run-heavy game.
If you're betting on it, definitely bet under.
Absolutely. I'm taking the Pats on this one, by the way. Not down against Bill Belichick.
Yeah, of course. So next thing we got is the Bucks-Vikings. Big game for the Vikings playoff hopes.
It's a big game for both teams, to be honest.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big games this week. The Vikings need this win to not be, because currently the Vikings have the wild card spot in the playoffs in the NFC. If they lose this, they most likely will be knocked out.
Yep, and I don't think they can come back from that.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely not.
So this is a huge game for them.
And also for the Bucks, because the Bucks, I don't think the Bucks are not going to win their division at this point when it comes to it. They're just looking for the wild card spot, and I think I'm going to take the Bucks on this one, just because Tom Brady. This is prime time Tom Brady. They need him to show up big time here for them to win this game.
Absolutely. And next game we have the Steelers and Bills. Humongous game. 2 powerhouses going at it. The Steelers hungry for a win after the loss versus the football team. Injury problems with the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. I know the Bills have some of their own with Zach Moss and Devin Singletary. This is a huge, huge, huge game for both sides. If Pittsburgh does have all these injuries, the possibilities, I could see the Bills winning this game. But at the end of the day, the way it's looking right now, I feel like we have the ability to stop Josh Allen, maybe not Patrick Mahomes, but we have the ability to stop Josh Allen. We've seen other teams do it. With our linebacking core and everything, we'll be able to keep him in the pocket with Cam Hayward and Stephon Tuitt. We have the ability to do that. We try to make him uncomfortable. It's going to be an ugly game for Pittsburgh, but I think they'll end up pulling this one out.
Absolutely. I think Pittsburgh's going to win this, but I think it's going to be a very, very ugly game, as you said, because Pittsburgh is going to be forced to run the ball this game because it is the Buffalo secondary. Buffalo is one of the best secondaries in the NFL. Of course, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, Tre'Davious White, all those guys playing amazing currently. I think it's going to be very hard to go over the top with those safeties. I think they're going to be forced to run the ball this game.
Yeah, getting Pouncey and Connor back is humongous. I don't care what anybody says, but that is Marquise Pouncey is the heart and soul of the Steelers team. He is their locker room.
Now, I'm going to go against you guys. I'm going with the Bills. Josh Allen is hot right now. James Conner hasn't played in 2 weeks, hasn't been able to practice in quite a while. Marquise Pouncey, I'm not sure how long he's been out, but it's been 2 weeks as well.
10 days.
10 days. So they're not back up to pace yet. They probably will be by game time, but I think that the Bills are just going to be able to squeak this one out.
All right. So a new segment is what was really asked for. People wanted to see what our betting lock is for the week. And this week, it is the Texans versus Bears. Betting odds right now have the Bears at a plus 1.5 favorite versus the Texans, and I just think that's absolute bullshit. The Texans will 100% win this game, and they'll definitely win by more than 1.5, in my opinion. The over/under right now is set at 44.5. The way Deshaun Watson is playing against that Bears defense, that Bears offense is not looking particularly great. Having no Will Fuller for Deshaun Watson, I'm taking the under here with the horrible Bears offense and the absence of Will Fuller with the Texans. So that's it. I'm taking the Texans on the bet with the 1.5. I don't know why the Bears are favored, but they are. And I am taking the under on the over/under of 44.5. That's it.
Absolutely. I'm not going to go against you on this one. I think the Texans will pull it out. I can see why the Bears would be projected to win this game when it comes to it because the Texans' run defense is terrible, and I think David Montgomery's going to have a field day. I think he's going to have a field day. This defense, I think they're like 30th now at this point, the Texans' rush defense. So I can see why they would be expected to lose this, but I don't see the Texans losing this one.
So what do you think?
I agree with you. Texans are going to win by more than 1.5 points, but I might take the over on this one. I think that they've learned to use David Montgomery in what feels right. He's put up back-to-back very good games.
Yeah.
And with another bad run defense, he could go off for a few touchdowns, maybe a pair, and then Deshaun Watson gets his own few touchdowns. They still have wide receiver weapons. They just aren't that good.
Right.
They're not Brandon Cooks. They're not D-Hop. They're not Will Fuller.
Yeah.
But Deshaun Watson still knows how to use those receivers, and he's one of the top quarterbacks in the league for that reason.
Exactly.
So I'm going to take Texans winning it by more than 1.5 and taking the over.
That is it.
That's all we got for you guys today. If you did enjoy, like, subscribe, comment down below what you guys want us to show us on this podcast because we love listening to you guys, seeing what we can do to improve our podcast. And that's all we got for you guys today. We'll see you guys next time.
See you guys later.
Have a good one.